dark shot and not anything grey. Or there might be a little bit more telling.
We've all been there. We've all been there. We are coming in to this map then. Coastline, it's going to be Vitality versus Team Secret. And this could be an absolute paradise for the Gunners today, Fluke. People like Prano could come and have a real huge impact for Team Secret. Is this the opportunity they've been waiting for? Is this their moment to strike back after that opening play day win against G2?
I think it's one of those things now, obviously, with how today has gone, because obviously it's Super Week. It's the superiest week that there's been. 3 play days and 9 points to play, which if some other teams had been a little bit more decisive in terms of the OTs, because we've seen a lot of OTs, only 2 teams at the beginning of today hadn't seen an OT, you know, it's really not put a massive difference between who's at the top and who's at the bottom. But then we've seen some, I guess, close games, upsets in some manners of what we expected. This for Secret, this went from, you know, this could be important to catch up and get off the bottom to we could catch a lot of teams if we pull points from this.
That's it. It really does. It's a foundation game. It's just really sort of setting them up to springboard them through the remainder of the superiest weekend, as you so aptly name it, that we've got coming up on Saturday and Sunday, where we're really going to have some big decisions being made both at the top and bottom of the table. So heading into round 1, we're going to be going to kitchen and service. Vitality will start us out on the attack here. And being that it's Coastline, we haven't seen a lot of it so far through this stage, and there's going to be plenty of surprises coming in for us, I would expect, from both of these teams, because we don't know exactly what they are going to deliver. Hive is bringing along the Nomad, so I would expect a top floor presence coming in immediately from Secret. They are going to want to take over that top floor. You get an air jab on the 2 staircases, and once you've got all the defenders cleared out, any roam is gone. There's no way for them to really get back up and to pressure onto those flanks, unless, of course, they had an Oryx on the board who could go up through the hatches, but they don't. So the Nomad should be pretty effective at shutting down that.
We saw a huge amount of Oryx when we saw this map earlier.
No wonder, because the thing is, you can get trapped down the bottom floor quite easily as the defenders. You, like I say, it's as easy as air jabbing off those 2 staircases, and that's it. You've got top floor control, and so yeah, it's no surprise. I'd say out of all the maps, it's probably one of the best for Oryx.
P4, a big player, has the ability to crouch walk into sight and then get killed, setting himself up to trap. Hey, Bibu, where you going? Yeah, that's inside, but you, I guess, wanted to set a bit of a pace, but a bit of danger. I hope you could catch Secret on the instant up and up. And to be fair, Vitality, the momentum of this game coming into it based on, well, how you've been playing, the scoreboards across the board, and I guess how the fans voted too, it's in your favour. Keeping a handle on that and making sure it stays at your pace, I suppose. That's down to Secret to see if they can break it. And Bibu is seeing if he can start this off with a plum. Waiting for the approach here onto the little split site of Sunrise as he shoulders up, hunkers down, and pours himself a delicious drink. But it's P4 that takes the first sip, and it's Sleben. Nothing tastier to get off the board to open this foray.
That is a big loss for Team Secret. Sleben has been a standout member of the roster so far, head and shoulders above sometimes in terms of performance, and he really has driven the team forward. And without him on the board, somebody else is going to have to step up, and that somebody right now is Draven, coming in on the butt, getting a nice headshot onto Bibu just to clear out Sunrise. So that will give access now. Be careful, Draven. Look at him. He wants to go over that bar. He just wants to, doesn't he? He's magnetised towards the Pogma M.
He's just like, go on, do it. Do it.
Do it. You just want to watch.
But now Iana's stepped up, and now Iana's on the side. They still haven't looked down, and obviously they're concerned with the confrontation that's happening on the opposite side. No one is caught in it just yet, but it's a dangerous dance. It's almost like that, you know, when you're watching something as the audience and you know something they don't, you're like, oh, and you're waiting for someone to drop the glass so everybody can cheer. God, I miss being in pubs. But now, instead of that, it's actually the kitchen where they're focusing on. As you talked enough about bars, they're able to put the pressure onto the kitchen window itself. So far, they've only really caught a corner of the map's attention.
I got asked the question the other day about the frost mats, and you know, at this level, how are they effective? How are people going into them? And this is the reason, because look at what Gonfi is doing. He's in his ADS, and these players are almost constantly. They probably spend about 80% of the round. He's just dropped off the bar in his ADS. Had there been the frost mat there, he doesn't see it, and that is why quite often they get caught out, and they don't always get seen on the drones in areas like that. Now Rise taking a lot of damage from above there, pressure being applied. Prano, he's just holding himself on a little bit of a flank watch there, just preventing that rotation back through. Frost will be shut down by Hive, and that leaves now Team Secret in a slight advantage after taking the opening death. This is good from them. P4, he's going to double down on his kill total for the round though and find himself a second, and then we just have them raining down inside a sight. Ultimately Vitality come out on top and find themselves now 2 versus 1. Draven's got it all to do. He comes to try and find one, but no, shot down from behind the boxes. Cactus puts the Alder to work, finds the headshot onto Draven, and that's going to be Vitality opening themselves up with a reasonably strong first round.
Secret found what they believed was a point of ingress. They found this little window, and they had the, I guess, idea of, well, the 2 bars are clear, so we can try and, I guess, manipulate this angle. And then obviously they had the Nomad in a great position to cut off that rotation, but they unfortunately found themselves with not a huge amount of time left to make it work. The hop-in on the kitchen had to work, and it just didn't. It fell down to obviously 1 kill hit P4, and then P4 died in a trade on the second, so he was able to get even more, I believe. And then it's just that situation of we could have done with maybe obviously a cleaner pickup there. Sometimes those things go away from you, but you know, it's early round, it's your first time in against Coast, and it's for only the second time we're seeing it on a UL.
Heading into round number 2, then we're going to head upstairs this time around for Vitality. It's going to be Hookah and Billiards that they try to lock down. We are, of course, on 2-round rotation. I just want to give you the heads up for anybody who's maybe a bit newer to the broadcast, a bit newer to Siege. The way that the sites work are, once a defensive team wins a site, they have to play 2 rounds away from that site. They don't have to win them, but they do have to go elsewhere for a couple. So now that Vitality win Kitchen in round number 1, they can't play that same site for round 2 or round 3. Round 4 will be the soonest that they can go back. It basically stops teams being able to just wedge themselves into a bastion that they know that they can control and churning out round after round, which would, of course, be no fun for us to watch. So this time, Vitality choose to go upstairs to Hookah and Billiards. Secret, they will more than likely be looking to aggress into the top floor. They might try to push through and up the staircases, clear out any roamers underneath, make sure there's no nitros down there. Prano just holding an angle through the blue bar window towards Sunrise now. But generally speaking, a lot of the pressure is going to be applied horizontally and directly towards site. Now, that is a great down there coming in from Prano.
Yeah, that puts them in a bit of a tricky situation. Obviously, nobody there to immediately pick it up, but look at them putting their entrance onto Sunrise via split. There's also obviously the split of the push here as Hive was looking for a way in via offices. P4 is doing a steady creep. There is so much concern that somebody might swing up and, well, that's a bloody trail up a staircase, but that's a Malusi safe with cover from Bibu. They might not have known truly that they got the down, or they might not have known that they are alone. Either way, they couldn't capitalize upon it until then. Finished off. P4, better late than never, and still buried in underneath a lot to take away from that big kill, and obviously the player who was able to stem the flow previously.
5 versus 4 then, 1 minute 30, halfway through the round. Team Secret making reasonable progress, but still some key defenders need to be dislodged, and Cactus is one of them. He's got the deployable shield, he can see the man in front of him. He just takes a little peek out there, but chooses not to hit the pre-fire, and that misses him the opportunity. There was a definite chance there to pop a headshot as he jumped up. Rise is taking all kinds of damage in there inside of the Hookah Lounge. He's going to be finished off quite easily by the skeleton key of Draven from underneath, and that is a serious advantage now to Team Secret as they find themselves 5 versus 3. But not only is the man count on their side, so is the clock. 50 seconds left to go. Team Secret have got everything they need to close this round out.
That's it. They just need to see if they can find the capitalization on the point itself to make sure the sentence is punctuated by, hey, we're still in this game after a good beginning. Draven dropped on the swing up, but there's at least one more body that falls their way, and there's Sleben with the cover from deep to find his first for the game, leaving Shinka alone and isolated. The upside down rappel is, well, taken out of there, and there's almost the second as he swings on to Sleben, but they're well aware of where he is. The rotation comes through, pre-aimed and pre-fired by Shinka, but with only 15 seconds and the body pushed further back, it's just a matter of picking it up and putting that plant back down. They know he can only really come from one way, and Sleben's going to make sure he doesn't even begin. Back in it, one apiece.
Shutdown from Team Secret then, a much better round than we saw first time around. Prano just really starting them off on the right foot with that early pick towards P4, just downed him and then left him able to be finished off, and it was a good performance from there. Draven able to get in, Rise suffering all sorts of pressure inside of Hookah. There was just absolutely nowhere he could turn. I don't know if Cactus was maybe quite aggressive enough on that Hookah door or not. He did have the opportunity. I'm clutching, you know, he's got half a second, but these guys do expect to be able to pick up those kills with the reflexes that they've got. So I'm sure he will be looking for more coming into round 3. We will be heading... Where will we be heading? To Blue Bar and Sunrise. This time around, it's not too dissimilar a defense. The attacking push will generally come from on the top floor. It's the equivalent of Hookah Deck and Aquarium. Down here, it would usually be Office, which is at the bottom of your screen, or it'll be from the pool entrance, which is up towards the top of your screen. The pool entrance does tend to be favoured a little bit, but we have seen some attacks trying to come in through that Office side as well, and they'll try to get a breach. They'll move in there. They don't actually have a hard breach on side, which is interesting this time around. Half the wall has been left soft. Might give them an opportunity to get in there with the soft breach of Zofia or Ash, so that does give them an opportunity to get the diffuser down behind the bar, but they will need to get vertical control as well, really. They need to be in control of Aquarium before they do that.
Who's that? It's the man with the strongest legs in the roster. Rise is picking up the mantle of being able to hop through hatches. As I said, he was a big play earlier on for both teams that were on coast because he can offer that quick pace response, and it seemed like at first Vitality were trying holes that, well, lend themselves a little bit more to lockdown and see if they can take Secret. Here, though, it seems like they're trying to set themselves up for the possibility of mobile confrontation, of being a little bit more fluid and a little bit tougher to keep a handle on, especially when he starts putting on his mad hops and heading up after being kind of droned out and caught in some situations. You look at the hatch buried in the corner of luggage, you look at the one that's obviously buried in the bedroom. There's so many little places to come up that are just so quick to causing problems.
Prono just taking a peek in through the main reception there. He can see there's nobody on the desk game. He just wants to check in. He just wants to get in here and start his trip. He wants his holiday to begin, but it's going to be... His holiday does begin as he shuts down P4. He's having none of the entertainment talk when he's got there. He just wants to get straight to his room. But Rise and Bibu, they shut down Draven and Gonfi. Sleben manages to trade one out, and that leaves us 3 versus 3 after a very quick flurry of kills. And High, he comes in. 3rd kill of the game so far, going well on the Nomad. We find ourselves now at a Team Secret advantage.
Yeah, it seemed like the staff of the building were keeping themselves with, I guess, the idea of, hey, let's keep the restrictions on space and most of you aren't allowed to come in. It was a little bit over the top, I think, actually killing them, but hey, it keeps them on the drones, keeps their cameras watching, and now I guess it allows them to see if they can step up, obviously on a bit of a back foot, but they still have the hefty bag boy who can hop up and down, as previously mentioned, as well as the laid-back stylings and the scented candles of Cactus to really start to set the mood on the 3 remaining, looking for a little bit of safety, solace, and sunshine in the final minute.
There comes, a kill from Rise, I was just about to say, but he won't be successful. Takes a lot of damage away from Hive, manages to turn back, gives him the 180 and finishes him off after using that dash just to move around the map quicker. It's not all about busting through walls. Sometimes for Oryx, it can just be about getting that quick relocation, that change of angle, and it did a great job for him there just to mix things up as to what Hive might have expected. So 2 versus 2, 25 seconds left to go, and the pressure is going to have to start mounting towards sight here if they want to get any joy. Prano does exactly that, steps in, gets the kill onto Cactus. He knows where the last man is now. Rise, he's going to use that dash again to try and just relocate. The diffuser starts going down on the ground. It's going to be Sleben to try that. He's getting pinged out constantly, but even with that information, Rise cannot win the gunfight. Prano shuts him down, and he's having a great day. He's on an absolute tear so far.
Oh, 100%. That was Prano all over. Had the cover, had the positioning, and had himself set up for any potential point of, I guess, response that was going to come through from Vitality's defense. It went to the wire. There's no way of denying that. The 2-2, and it was just the perfectly timed idea of he threw the canister. I am going hot and heavy now. A second, even if that too, maybe later, and that could have very much been the smoke set round with the other way and ready to drop that ash. No, it had to be step for step perfect, and in the hands of Prano, it was 2-1, and we find ourselves back to where it all began, cooking up a storm in the kitchen.
Coming into kitchen then, Vitality won this site in round number 1, so maybe a little bit of a confidence boost after losing those 2 rounds. It's just going to feel like, yeah, we can do this again, we can level things up, and it was a good round from them. We saw that they opened things up with the initial kill onto Sleben, and after a flurry of kills there with the team that were left standing, so they're looking to replicate that. We can see the Banshee just being placed on the inside. There's a lot of utility being applied towards that service entrance. It's quite not as common as it used to be to try and get the diffuser down there. We don't see too many plants on this site, to be honest, but when they come in, it tends to be either behind the barrels that you can see top right of your screen, or just inside. Thank you, medics. Bottom left, as we look at that little area now, is also quite popular for getting the diffuser down. So we can see we've got a lot of utility. We've got an Aruni laser gate. We've got a bulletproof camera on the reinforcement looking at the service door. We've got a Maestro cam above the door itself to the left-hand side. We've got a Banshee. Do you think we could stack up any more utility on the service door?
I don't know. I guess we'll see if it's good service or bad service. Either way, it's going to be a heck of a reception as they try and step their way inside. Bibu's gone off with a bit of a hold on the Mozzie on around the Sunrise area, seeing if he can obviously pop and pre-fire towards anyone that gets close. Obviously, Frost is back on the board too. She didn't catch anybody last time, but swing and a miss, maybe a swing and a hit. You still got more possibilities until you are out for good, and it seems like Rise is going to make sure that, well, anybody out near Lambo is going to get dropped before they go in. There was a body on the top of Square, so they can't quite go for this central rotation as they're concerned of, obviously, that laser gate, just waiting for it to be popped back open. Knows there's somebody out there, but it's a matter of time until the first person goes for that first confrontation.
Secret definitely just wanting to get themselves as much information as they can. They see give Rise the opportunity there to just re-enact, to re-engage that Aruni laser gate. As we say, once the crackling stops, it just takes one shot from any defender on the board and it will reactivate. So it's going to take another piece of utility or a drone or a body or something to just deactivate it and allow access without damage. P4 will get some damage onto Draven though as he finds a headshot, and that's a good comeback from P4. He's been the entry death in the last couple of rounds, so to get himself back on the scoreboard will be a big driver for him into this round. 5 versus 4. Vitality have the advantage, and Secret just seem to be struggling a little bit. They've got themselves surrounding the pool entrance, but they aren't yet established inside of Sunrise. But here comes Prano. He's moving up from the rear. He's looking for the flank here. Now then, there is a man just hidden in behind the bar. It is Bibu on the Mozzie, but I'm not sure Prano's going to check. He gets shut down, and it's all too easy. P4 and Bibu just piling on the pressure there, and Vitality level it up, and they show that the heat is certainly too much for Team Secret, and it's time for them to get out of the kitchen.
It was a little bit of, I guess, you feel a bit bad for Prano there. He'd crept down Cool Vibes stairs, was waiting for someone to make a mistake and waiting for his, I guess, team to push on the opposite side. Didn't drop the camera because didn't believe he was detected and wanted to stay secret where he was. And then he was suddenly the only person left on his team. Then he was entirely in no man's land, surrounded by everybody else. He couldn't really reposition at that point without causing a fuss. Yeah, you know, it's that little moment of, this hasn't worked, has it?
Just that realization.
Yeah.
I thought this was going so well, and now I'm the only one.
Hey guys, guys, can I get an update? Oh.
Where are you guys?
2-2. 2-2, we find ourselves back up on Hookah. This did go the way of Secret, but obviously Vitality has to try and do something to swing it into their favor. They cannot play Kitchen again this turn of the half. They had every other site open to them, but they think this is the one that they can make work. It came down to, I think it was a 3 versus 1 in the end of it, so they've definitely got a lot that they can step up. And to be honest, what I kind of want to see, I guess, is a little bit more mobile aggression from them.
Cactus once again just deploying that shield in front of the Aruna Gate. It's the same setup that they had previously. And I mean, if you're looking at the Aruna Gate and you're thinking, why is the Suya Gate being deployed there in front of the deployable shield? Nobody's likely to come and try and push through that door onto the shield. What it does is it protects the shield as well, because obviously any throwables, any nades, any ash charges, anything like that that get fired to try and take that shield out will first have to go through those laser gates. There's another one on the door opposite it as well. So at this point, there's a lot of throwable utility. There's a lot of work that needs to be done before they can impact on that shield. So if you've got somebody playing in behind there, it can make them pretty safe. It can arguably be dealt with from the rooftop as well, but you see there's also the utility there of the Jaeger ADS, which if anything comes down from the rooftop, it's going to take it out before it gets to the shield. So it's a nice little setup to keep that power position there, but they just need to squeeze a little bit more of an advantage out of it, I feel.
They want to start making their entrance, and well, Draven does. Cuts through P4 yet again, finds himself as one of the first names involved in that opening interaction, and it's unfortunately on the opposite side. Shinka and Bibu realize, yet again, we're suddenly all that's left, and we need to quickly hotfoot it back up to the site. They went for something as a deep offsite hold, and Secret have been able to take care of 3 bodies without even beginning to really scratch the surface of the hold here. They're back in time because, well, I mean, if everybody dies off-site in a minute 30, you've kind of got to have this moment of,
Certainly not the ideal start for Vitality, that much is for sure. Shinka just locking himself down in that power position that I discussed behind the deployable shield. Bibu's got himself stuck here. Now that somebody is on this double rappel, he doesn't know which side they're on necessarily, and it's going to be difficult and dangerous for him to move himself out of that corner. Shinka, he's very aware of the potential push. How about that from Bibu? Headshot onto the upside down hive, rips away his life, and that is a great kill to get things underway in the final stages for Vitality here. 45 seconds left to go. Bibu, Shinka, a lot of work yet to do.
He's going for a big rotation because he wants to surprise them down luggage. He saw or potentially heard the bodies that were stacking up here, and he set himself to be in the split push scenario either side. It's a big risk because it puts you in this 4 versus 2 from range, but if you can make it work, well, it would have been big. Unfortunately, all it does now is hand a life, with the second picked up not long after. Secret, yet again, find another round and guarantee themselves at least an even attack half, but they're looking very good on most of these sites.
Looking much better than some of the play days that we've seen. They're starting to sharpen up, get those kills, particularly on the entry. Draven's going fantastically well so far today. They need him to maintain that momentum because it's really driving them at the minute. Now, I've got a feel for Bibu a little bit there, and that was a heads-up play. He took his opportunity to get himself out of sight, did the big rotate around the donut to the top floor of coastline, all the way in a circle, and I really thought for a second that Secret weren't aware of the pressure that was coming in from luggage. But Draven, he's on his game today, and he paid his due diligence. Nice attention down that luggage corridor and found himself a kill. But I tell you what, on a different day with the team not quite paying attention, that could have been a freebie for Bibu, and you've really got a feel for him there.
Now, obviously, I cited it at the beginning, but we're a little bit away from it. It's worth always highlighting Secret were one of the 2 teams that hadn't seen an OT since the beginning of the play day. Since then, obviously, other teams have. But also, on the other side of that, Vitality at the beginning of the play day had the most OT scenarios. They played a total of 4 over the games that they've played so far this season, and I guess, you know, it's one of those statistics. Is this something where they're going to be able to pull themselves back in? They've obviously gone the distance on most of their games and been able to try and fight for most of them to be a win, to put them in a pretty decent situation. However, with how everyone else's games have shaped up and how things have gone wrong across the board for some of these other teams they're competing with closely, they're not after any of the semi-skimmed points right now. They want that full fat goodness.
Oh, of course they do. They're looking for the full 3 because if Team Secret can lock down a full 3 here, it takes them up to 8th place. It drags them off the bottom and puts them above both Train Hard and Empire. And it really starts reining things in a little bit for them and just giving them an opportunity to at least push towards mid-table. That would then, of course, give them the opportunity to find themselves on 12 points by the time things close out. And that will be much closer to a mid-table finish. Team Vitality, by contrast, they're on 10 points of mid-table at the minute. This win would put them back up into 4th place. So it is important for both teams here. Now, back to the round at hand. We've got round 6 here. It's back down into Blue Bar and Sunrise. Vitality's final defense before we switch the sides, and Secret become the ones that we're trying to shore up these sites to prevent the ingress of the attackers. We're a minute in with no kills yet. Quite a tentative round coming in here.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a blow there. They set up the Echo drone with that C4 to hope to get somebody early. Let Iana pass, potentially believed it was a Gemini and maybe just wanted to strike someone else. And then Buck pre-fired an angle to open it and took the C4 with it without even thinking it. So they've got to bring that drone back round. They've got to see if they can set themselves up for another bit of success as they obviously lose a fraction of utility. Now, Cactus is the one that's looking underneath to see if he can pop steadily. This is a big problem for them, obviously. The more the buck opens, the less ground they have to play with, the more uncomfortable they are. And we've seen Secret be very good so far at shepherding the bodies into positions and then having another player to be able to pick it up. They know seemingly where a lot of the Vitality players are, and they seemingly know how to deal with it too.
55 seconds left to go, and it's time for Secret to start making something happen here. 5 versus 5. Bibu just going to hold himself in the kitchen here, looking for potential flank, but there's going to be absolutely no flank onto site as Prano manages to move in, locates the man and shuts him down. Hive comes in and joins the party with a kill onto P4, and right now it's all going wrong for Vitality as Shinka gets shut down. Rise, he's just trying to hold himself an angle inside of sight, but Cactus trying to delay things as well with the Toxic Babe canister going out there. Draven will take some damage, but Prano, he dishes back double as he shuts down Rise. The last man tries to push through the door. There's nothing else for it. There's nothing else to do. And Gonfi is waiting there, arms wide open to embrace him as he comes out of the blue bar. Flawless round for Team Secret, and what a way to finish off the half. They find themselves 4-2 on the scoreboard.
4-2, and even if they don't get another round, this would put it as their joint 3rd best performance this season, being able to pull 4 rounds. And I think, you know, it says an unfortunate kind of situation of Secret, and I'm not saying that they're going to. I think they're definitely going to be able to put more. The way that they're playing this is very, very good. But the last time they were able to take a win was the opening playday against G2.
It's been a little while, that much is for sure, and they need to show us that they've got the memory and the capability of closing this game out. You know, you can't forget how to do that bit, but it's been a great start for them on the attack. They come in on the defense now. They need to show us that Coastline can work both ways. They need to be locking those sites down nice and tight. I would suggest maybe having 1 or 2 players that are getting out there and being unpredictable. Try and hit Vitality on the roam. They've not been playing fantastically well when they've lost that man early in the round, so get up in the faces. Don't let them have any time to settle. That's what they're trying to do now. They're taking a tactical time out. They're trying to slow things down. So don't let them. Get aggressive. Take the peaks. Just really keep the pressure on here.
A damning tweet from Dez. Could you believe such a thing? Could you believe Dez having a
strong opinion on something?
A strong opinion?
Doesn't sound like the Dez we know.
I know. Today we've seen Coastline twice after not seeing it all season. Not gonna lie, after watching it play out, I kind of wish it stayed that way.
Ooh, harsh.
Strong words about Coast.
I quite enjoy Coastline because it's just gunfights. It's just let's get in and have some gunfights, and it's just always one of those. It's like a box of frogs. There's just things going everywhere on Coastline.
I think that's first of all, I'm so excited for I guess Milos and Jess's reaction to that, but also I guess people outside of UK to be like, box of frogs?
A box of frogs?
What is he on about?
Well, all you've got to do is imagine it. If you put a few frogs in a box, of course, taking care of them. You know, there's they don't need to do any harm. But keep them in a box, put them in a little box. Think about it. They're going to be jumping around everywhere.
I like how you added, you've got to take care of the frogs.
course you've got to take care of the frogs. I don't want any accusations that I might not.
Right, first time we are seeing Vitality on the attack, and two big things instantly pop out, probably to everybody. Blackbeard in the hands of Bibu. He's not the man he once was, but he's also still got a shield that protects him for a little bit. And in a game of top fraggers who are very good at being accurate, and Bibu is definitely one of those names that is up there since the dawn of CG Sports, that's pretty dangerous. Also, P4 on that roll of being able to get up underneath those hatches. If I'm going to talk about what it can be done in the hands of Oryx, it's the same story here. It's the same potential of causing problems quickly. And this is a quick way to cause a problem. Hit up here, swing onto the corridor, and put a lot of bullets into Prano when he didn't quite expect it.
Absolutely love that from P4. I always get excited at the Amaru players because you just never know how they're going to go. It's that unpredictability that just puts us on the edge of our seat. Now then, we can see they have got control, Vitality, of the east side of the map there. They are locked into Theatre Penthouse, and the aggression continues from P4 on the Amaru as he starts to push onto that 90 elbow. He really is looking to get that line of sight down into the bomb site here. But they've just taken the foot off the gas a little bit here, Vitality. They've got back onto the drones. They're just feeding in that information. They've got Bibu with the Blackbeard. He's going to be looking to come in with the face shield and support this attack moving into Aquarium as they move in en masse now towards Luggage.
That's it. They're taking it steady by steady, looking towards that default plant spot too. I think not being able to lock off Prano was probably a bigger blow to them than previously believed. A little bit out of tempo and out of pace. He was pushed further away, and with the charm of Pickle Rick, seeing if it can offer all the success, funniest thing we've ever seen here. Can it be the joke that turns themselves into a round win?
Raz just takes out the barricade on the window there. That will allow potentially later in the round exit if necessary after the diffuser goes down, or to watch that diffuser, or just anybody, the Blackbeard probably, to get themselves down on the upside down rappel and just see if they can cause havoc inside a site. But right now the push continues to focus on Aquarium. Bibu just holding the long angles there. Surely not. Surely not. P4, he's going to do it. He's going to do this. He's just waiting for the moment. Shinka manages to get a kill onto Sleben, and in goes P4 from behind. He gets himself one. Rise joins in from the far side, and this was the pinch to end all pinchers. And Secret, they have no answers as Rise gets the diffuser down. Prano, he's left flailing on the cool vibe stairs, and he is put into an early grave as Vitality close out their first attacking round. And what great use of the Amaru from P4.
The amount of times you see her on the board, okay, not that many. But even then, the amount of times when she's on the board that you see her used, probably about 50% of the time. Often, you know, you'll see her potentially on a map like Cafe, where they're just trying to get to the top in like quickly, and rather than using it to breach windows so intently. To be fair to French teams, if teams are often using them like confidently, like going up through hatches on, say, Villa, when we've seen it played there, or obviously a quick Oregon take that I believe was done by Tempera against G2. They're a team and they're a region that really likes to roll into Amaru. Moral of the story, I am happy to see her used.
The thing there for me, is that's quite an interesting development on the Amaru, because that's not a method of using the Gara hook that we've seen too often. And I can hear people saying, what, zipping in through a window? That's crazy. What it's there for. Of course, that's not what I mean. What I mean is the stage in the round. Generally speaking, you think of Amaru, you think of getting to the building quickly, getting into sight, surprising people. That's what it's all about. It's just that speed and aggression. But what Vitality have done so well there is actually, we're going to save this opportunity. They did that at the beginning of the round, but then they've dipped back out. And we're going to save this opportunity until 20 seconds from our execute, when things are going crazy inside a site, and nobody is going to expect this coming in from behind. And how well did it work? Shut down after one, but a very important kill. It was the man who was watching the bomb site. So it then allowed them to get in and start putting the diffuser down. And honestly, as a little pocket strat, I wouldn't be surprised to see that again. Bring the Amaru along, but leave it until 20 seconds from the end and then burst into sight when it's least expected.
I will say I did like how we actually saw it was the second time they entered as well. They kind of did the first. It was a bit of a false start, and then they, I guess, completed a warm-up lap around the building to heat up their tires and didn't spin out like a certain driver. under the Russian flag, but instead was able to pull themselves all the way around and actually find some success. But here, they've been a little bit scarpered behind a very fancy car on this racetrack as they wait. Bibu creeps steadily, trying to just find a tip of the hat of Sleben, who's popping, well, everything that's close. There he is. He wanted a line of roughly where he might be, and he's not moving, but it's Blackbeard in the hands of Bibu. You've put him down to 50 before, but now he's popped a shield up, and, well, that makes this a very dicey confrontation.
Sleben just needs to play this smart here. It's one of those locations that you have to keep repeating to yourself. Don't peek, don't peek. It can be an absolute power position that will just completely stop Vitality pushing in from the front of the building here. And Sleben's getting braver and braver as time ticks by because he knows his job is more and more done now. He tries to take the challenge. He does actually down Bibu, which is a great result against the Blackbeard. But Bibu likely to be collected, I would have thought, at some point. Prano, though, going to make it difficult. He's on those main stairs and he's looking to push down. Cactus is aware of his location, but it's just preventing Vitality getting to their teammate. You can see they've worked together in numbers there to allow somebody to get outside, to just hold Prano back. They had the angle covered, and Sleben, he's done a great job there, actually. By downing Bibu, it's wasted a lot of time. Rise, he's now down behind the reception desk. It's just one after another at the minute.
Did they steal the Rook armor there? And, well, they're at least able to finally steal a kill, but a body down in the middle. They are entirely isolated. They are dead for the round, and, well, Vitality, they're going to put pressure onto the site, realizing that fact. They swing either side. A bit of concern at the back of the kitchen quad wall as they see someone in the core of the courtyard, but with a cold diffuser in only 20 seconds, whatever they do, it has to be a dash, and it'll probably be a little bit of a mad one. A 3 versus 2. The 3 bodies are locked down. I believe the third is on the white stairs to make sure they have the swing, and the double down flashes come through, and the impact. They spray its height from long to get one, and there's Gomfy to finally take care of Bibu from before. No entry at the main door. Thank you very much. Take your business elsewhere.
Secret doing great in the kitchen there, cooking themselves up a real treat and locking it down 5-3 now. They find themselves on the scoreboard and only 1 point away from that match point opportunity that could close this out, their second win of the stage. And it will come as a bit of a surprise, I have to say. The results that Vitality have had over the last few play days, we've seen some rapid growth from them. They've been clinical in both their attacks and defense, and they've looked unbeatable at times. But right now, Secret, they are showing that they are certainly on the turnaround. They've got themselves moving in the right direction, and there's absolutely no stopping them at the minute. But look at the lineup. We've got the Amaru back.
Honestly, they've been pretty continual. They've been steady, and I guess they're hoping for that bit of performance. It's a good map for her because, okay, I know I said the times that she's bought, 50% of the time, you don't really see her use her ability in terms of instant aggression. You don't see her in terms of getting in the building in that manner. You'll see her go to the roof. You'll see her try and get a hold on a rotation or an angle quicker than otherwise would be. But this is a good map for that quick in and out because of how Coast is built. It's so small. It's so square. It has the narrow height to be able to hop up to the top and drop down if need be. But in terms of those rotations around the side, it's not the worst for doing it. It's not the heft of Villa or Cafe. It's a little bit consulate, but even narrower and slimmer, and it just kind of plays into her wheelhouse.
I'm glad that Gomfy moved that bear trap there. I was thinking to myself as it was getting placed down, I was just thinking, come on, Gomfy, you are not getting away with this one. You don't get to put a frost mat on a default plant spot and expect that a planter is just going to run into it. That is not happening. It's been relocated, thankfully. It's in behind that bar now, in the shadows, a much better location, much more likely to have some joy. Prano, he's just going to drop the hatch. He doesn't want to try and find any joy challenging onto the penthouse double window. It's never an easy one, so he's going to keep himself inside of the bar. Is he thinking about it? I don't think he's going to go for the run out here. He knows there's one up on the double window, but he will expect an air jab as a minimum. He doesn't know there isn't a Nomad coming along necessarily, so there is potentially an opportunity there, but he's not going to take the chance. There is that Claymore, of course, on the board. We don't know where that has been positioned.
Well, steady droning as it's dropped on the pullback towards office. Nobody there to catch him and, well, at least a friend to offer some support. They obviously have themselves set up for the potential of causing some destruction onto that default plant spot. There isn't really anything outside of what's in the pockets of Sleben, apart from, as we saw earlier, a ping and some gun skill in a previous game on Coast. But at the same time, well, it's slow and steady. From Vitality, they've been able to, I guess, shepherd enough space to feel like they're confident to start putting the pinch and the pressure onto Aqua itself. Bibu is going to be that anvil with the glass shield in their face to trust the hammer of the rest of Vitality to start making its way from the east to the west.
Vitality not in terrible shape here. They've got themselves into Aquarium. They're taking control. They've got luggage. They have a minute left on the clock, so plenty of time. The droning will be done. Bibu's going to head himself up onto the rappel now with the Blackbeard face shield. So he's going to try and keep that smoke at bay and just try and hold down the angle onto the man playing inside of Hookah. P4 opens things up with the Amaru kill onto Sleben. So that leaves us 5 versus 4 now. 45 seconds left to go, and Vitality in a good position to be able to execute onto site soon.
The Echo drones are keeping a bit of a watch, knows that is there, and did a bit of a dance to drop it. Maybe doesn't know how close they are to getting a very, I'm going to say, dangerous haircut from the man on the window. Cactus goes to stick it on the default, baits out the first of the canisters. 20-second left, and that puts them in a bit of a dangerous location because they know that they're in a position to throw those over. They have to try and apply some pressure, and there it is, caught by an ADS. There's a swing round of aggression. Prano is the one that finds success with Hive dropped over. Shinka down the long corridor, but with only 10 seconds, they have to do everything from this push. Oh no! The Frost mat that was moved strikes from default and ruins the vibes that were otherwise so cool, and it's guns everywhere that puts Secret on map point.
The Frostmat comes in clutch again. We're seeing it time after time recently, and I answered the question earlier, how do they do it? Well, you just saw it for yourself. P4 in his ADS there, moving around, ready for the gunfight, but not ready for the trap that was about to snap shut on his leg, and that will be the round ended for Vitality. Secret 6-3 now, find themselves on match point, and they have been defending fantastically well here on Coastline, with Vitality only managing to take one of the 3 rounds that we have seen so far. Secret, they just need one more to get this over the line, and they're going to be heading to Blue Bar.
I think we've got to give credit, obviously, to how Secret are playing. They're getting themselves involved in gunfights, and they're playing very well. It's an aggression that we haven't really seen from them, and you can kind of track their history throughout this season, where obviously they opened on a win against G2. Then it was over the next 4 games, they got 4 rounds, then they got 3 rounds, then they got 2 rounds, then they got 1 round, and then last playday, 5-7 against Kavana. They showed up, and they showed up against a team that had come off the back of 14-1 over 2 games. They've been progressing, they've been growing. I guess whether it's too late in the season or not, we'll learn by the end of the season and how the remaining 2 playdays go. But for all the compliments I'm giving Secret, Vitality haven't been able to muster the performances that they've been able to manage earlier on in the season.
I love the story. It's sort of a repeating story that we've had throughout stage 1 of EUL, and that is teams struggling and then turning that corner and really turning it well. You know, Team Secret coming out here, and they're the last of the bunch to do it, really. There's only Train Hard that we're sort of waiting for to come and have those couple of big performances and look like things are just starting to click. We've seen it from Empire. We've seen it to a degree from Virtus Pro, Rogue. We've seen it now from Team Secret, and you just love it. It's about teams adapting, growing, and just growing more confident with each other. And we've got to remember there was a lot of changes in the off-season, and the Secret right now, they are certainly bedding in well.
Wow, Vitality, what can you change? Now you have 3 rounds to try and pull yourself back to a point. And I talked about how you wanted everything, but unfortunately at the minute it looks like you might walk away with nothing. And, well, I guess that's a bit of a blessing for those other teams around you that have lost or not quite found everything that they could have from their games today. Secret, in the meantime, wow, putting on a big showing today is really going to put a bit of a dampener and a downer on some of the performances from those bottom tier teams like Empire, who otherwise thought they were clawing their way away from you, and you come in and jump them in the final moments.
P4 holding a really tight angle here from the security room, and Prano matching it with one of his own. They are in a standoff here. Neither one of them willing to move. Draven's going to take a lot of damage on the mute there as he comes out of a challenge alive, but worse for wear. Prano takes a few shots as well as he escapes from the main lobby with pressure mounting from Vitality. So Secret largely dropping back towards site now. Prano still trying to play an aggressive line just up towards that double door. Cactus can't quite make out the man through the holes there. There may well be an obstacle just in his way. They don't have the benefit of those silhouettes, of course. It didn't make it far too easy, but Vitality, their ingress onto site is sorted now. They've got diffuser in hand. Cactus is ready to potentially push in and try to get that diffuser down. They need to be confident that they've got control over main lobby, and P4 is working on that, but he's shut down by Prano. 3 versus 3 now as kills rain in on either side. 50 seconds left to go, and Vitality, it's now or never. You make a move or you're gonna lose.
50 seconds and all of it is precious, and Rise with, well, probably about 10 health is going to try his best as the support comes over. Sleben is above, and they have a massive potential here to put some damage and destruction down. They know that obviously the Gemini is getting the beat and the read on where everybody is, but with only 30 seconds, well, they've been able to slip past, but they don't have much of another option here. They'll hear that from above. Can they respond to it? Can they find the angle? They don't, and now it's a post plant with a big kill coming through from Shinka from deep in the office. Gomfi is hopping over to see if he can offer something back, sees a glimmer of a body of blue, but can't quite lock it off. Sleben goes for the rotate down the middle of courtyard, but is caught out instantly by Cactus, who had been able to slip by. A really well played and placed diffuser here. They read exactly what was the point of confrontation and moved under the secrecy of that Gemini to be able to find some intel. They get 1, but they still need to find another 2 to even have an idea of being able to get a point.
Certainly still work to be done for Team Vitality here, but a nice attack nonetheless. Looking at how was that successful exactly? Well, they got themselves early access into Blue Bar through Office, and the other important task that they undertook was partially covered by P4, and that was forcing Prano out of main lobby. You'll generally get a defender that tries to play inside a main lobby, because what it does is it offers a late flank opportunity. So the attackers can't be comfortable because it's a short move through security, through the sun corridor, into Office to make that flank and to hit them hard. But equally, the wall is generally shot out. The soft wall between Blue Bar and Courtyard is generally shot out, at least in the lower half. And that can be challenged all the way from the main lobby, from that reception desk. So if you can keep a defender active in there, it's very difficult then to push into sight and to think about getting the diffuser down, because it can be shut down from that long range angle. So Vitality, they dealt with that and denied access to that area very, very well, and it allowed them eventually to move through. They didn't plant in behind the Blue Bar. They decided to take it closer to the Sunrise wall, but it was a great play from them.
So Secret, I've cited it a couple of times, your record of being the team that hasn't hit OT. If I'm honest, now's the time where you really, I guess, want to keep that record going. Don't be the decision and the reason that you break it today. You're close to being able to lock off the 3 points. We have, though, seen a couple of teams in this league so far struggle with that climactic finish of a game, being able to just lock it off, kind of pack it up, put it in the suitcase and head on home, because we've got another couple of busy days here on the weekend, so you got to make sure that you're getting all of the rest and recuperation you need and not stressing all the way till the end of the office days.
Got to be putting those sunbeds to maximum use, Em. You've got to get out there and really take your relaxation, maybe flip through a page or 2 of a book, but Sleben right now needs to be careful, otherwise he's going to be finding himself written into history as he just dips away from that challenge in towards Blue Bar. P4 so aggressive today. We've seen him countless times getting in there early and looking for those entry frags, and it's what Vitality need right now. They need a fire lit underneath them to get themselves these 2 rounds to take things to overtime. But Secret guaranteeing themselves a point as it stands. They will do no worse than an overtime loss, which will be 1 point, but at the minute, I dare say they might be able to lock this one down. And it's interesting that Sleben's using this angle, very similar to what I was discussing last time around with why this is a power position. But Vitality are more than aware of the presence of the Rook there in main reception, and they are having absolutely none of it at the minute.
Well, holding on and hoping as they just see if they can claw one more bit of blood. And one of the things that we saw early on in this was actually a canister being used very early, and there's the second gone too. Only one canister left with 1:30. You know generally where they're pushing from, but it really limits you as that body that's on site. Sure, Coastline is a map of threading a defense, making sure you have an angle covered everywhere, and it's going to start to be pulled here from Rise. Swings close and goes for Malusi, drops her, lows for a second. There's Mozzie who pops up and he feeds right into the angle. Rise was trying to find a fight with somebody else. Mozzie decided to put his little helmet in, and unfortunately it got shot off. Hive finds Bibu on the opposite side as Draven is damaged but still surviving. Pressure from above, but he can't catch it. It's Sleben that does what he needs to, and Hive says, well, you're not getting that much further away from me. Shinka and Rise are trying to get a bit of control and find just a little bit and a little bit more. Rise with a triple kill is able to keep that flag flying, but the Jaeger was above. The Jaeger was in a position where he was able to look down and offer a bit more control. And what a kill he gets there. Shinka gets dropped. Rise does the smart decision. Well, he's far away. That's 7 seconds. I can plant. I've expected this. Goes for a big rotate here and finds just a little bit of space on the opposite side. 40 seconds. All he needs to lock this out and bring some hope back in, or all Rise needs to keep this fight going.
Very even in terms of health. There comes the headshot from Hive, and he will be the one to rise out of this round, the victor, as he gets straight onto the diffuser, and that is going to be the round and also the map for Team Secret. It really didn't look likely there, but he was able to come through and lock it down in a difficult situation, kept himself cool, and Rise couldn't win the one gunfight that mattered after 3 kills earlier in the round.
Well, Team Secret, it's been a hot minute, but you've been able to make sure that you've started to perform when it matters most on a day of, I guess, some predictions and some upsets and probably a lot of people's precious points lost inside Twitch chat. You did what you needed to do, but it's not quite done yet. And I think, you know, this weekend, it's heating up.